FIFA 23 is going to be the very last FIFA, well, in terms of EA actually developing it. This was an announcement that was made back in 2022, and it is ultimately an end to a 30-year relationship. But with that said, EA are still making a football game, and there will be another FIFA. And this is where things can get slightly confusing. That's why in today's video, we are going to be explaining everything that you need to know. So just to catch you up, just in case you've been hidden under a rock over the last year or two, EA is a game company. FIFA is a brand which exists to govern football. And together, there's a partnership where EA pays for licensing and are allowed to use the FIFA name on top of the games that they produce. And they've been producing a yearly franchise for what seems like forever. Now, with this licensing that EA pays for, they do pay a ridiculous price, which hasn't actually been announced or confirmed. There's speculations of the numbers out there, but one thing that we do know is what they do pay is a considerable amount, but they do get access to 19,000 athletes, 700 teams, 100 stadiums, and over 30 leagues. This does include some of the top leagues being Premier League, Bundesliga, La Liga, and also UEFA, with there being plenty more. You could say that FIFA is pretty much the foundation to what FIFA actually is, and that is FIFA the brand being the foundation to FIFA the game series. But whilst this partnership has been going on for 30 years, EA have also built up a number of other licenses. On top of having FIFA itself as a license, which does cover everything that we just mentioned with athletes, teams, stadiums, and also leagues, EA have also developed other partnerships for those individual leagues, teams, stadiums, and also athletes. Not every single one of them, but a large majority. So it begs the question of why EA is spending so much with FIFA when they do already have the individual licenses. And that's exactly what led to the split. EA is paying a ridiculous amount just to go and have the FIFA license when really they don't need to. They can keep expanding their individual licenses. Now with this, it does lead to there potentially being a bit of confusion over the next couple of years, and this is why EA have already announced the new name change to what is going to be the game that they're developing. So the reason that I say that there's going to be some confusion is because EA are still developing a football game. This football game is going to be called EA Sports FC. This is going to be the exact same as what we have with FIFA 23, 22, 21, 20, and so on. It's still going to be the exact same foundation. It's still going to have the exact same technology. It's just the naming conventions have now changed. But this is where it does get confusing because FIFA, the brand, is also going to be looking for a game studio who can develop what is FIFA as the game series. Now, this doesn't appear that there will be a FIFA 24 because there hasn't been an announcement of who is the new game studio that is going to be running FIFA. But it honestly wouldn't be a surprise just because of how big of a moneymaker this is, that at some point there will be a FIFA series again, just developed by a new game studio, whilst also EA are still producing football games under the name of EA Sports FC. Now with this, there have been quite a few questions and hopefully we can try to answer them. So because EA are now getting rid of their FIFA license, some people are asking whether or not it's going to be similar to what PES had to do about 10 years ago. And what I mean by this is PES didn't have hardly any of the big name licenses. So when it came to the Premier League, they couldn't actually use the official names and they couldn't use badges or kits. They couldn't even use the correct stadiums. So they ended up having teams called London FC, which were actually Chelsea. And many are wondering, is this going to happen with EA Sports FC? No. As said, they do still have their individual licensing, so that will cover them. And for the licenses that they don't have, it just won't be part of the game. But that's normal. That's been happening every year anyway. There have been some years where a certain team was part of FIFA, but then all of a sudden it wasn't the following year because they made a deal with another game company. And then the year after that, all of a sudden they were back into FIFA. It's happened every single year. The next question that many players are asking is whether or not this is actually going to make any changes to gameplay. Some even following up asking whether or not this actually means that this is the end to Ultimate Team. And yet again, the answer is no. It does appear that the exact same game modes will remain. They are not owned by FIFA, they are still owned by EA. There is no licensing which says that FIFA has career mode or pro clubs or ultimate team or Volta. This is all owned directly by EA. So all of that will still be part of EA Sports FC if EA chooses to do so. Of course, Ultimate Team is probably going to still play a massive part. It is a big money maker, raking in billions every single year, and not just for FIFA, but also through the other titles that are pushing Ultimate Team too. So in terms of core gameplay mechanics, it is likely going to be the same, but there is going to be a slight difference, especially if you're listening to the rumors. These rumors are that FIFA play a heavy hand when actually dictating the gameplay mechanics and where resources go to within FIFA the game. You may notice that over the last 10 years, potentially, you will see massive changes to Ultimate Team, but you would see next to nothing with the other game modes, with the likes of Career Mode, Pro Clubs being the main two in particular, with them also adding additional game modes to FIFA, but them also being very slow to getting updates as years go on. Ultimate Team has evolved a lot quicker than anything else. And the rumors are saying that that's because FIFA have been dictating everything. They've told EA exactly where to put money and where to focus, which has led to some game modes feeling like they've been neglected. Now this is just a rumor. There is no evidence that I've seen to actually back this up. But of course, there probably wouldn't be in situations like this. Everything under a game studio is signed off under an NDA. Which means anyone that did reveal the information would probably result in them completely ruining their career. And no one's going to do that no matter how much they're against what they're currently putting together. Because at the end of the day, they still need to provide for their family. And also, they're probably still enjoying their job through game development. Otherwise, they wouldn't stay there. So they don't want to give all of that up for next to nothing. But we will soon find out whether or not this is true, because this does mean that FIFA has had no say in EA Sports FC. This is where EA has 100% control, and if they do want to actually improve the likes of other game modes with Career Mode, Pro Clubs, Volta, and anything else that they're planning to add, this is now the time to do so without there being governing bodies overlooking everything. And it may not be something that starts with the very first release of EA Sports FC, but it may be something that we'll see over the next couple of years. If there are still no changes to any of the other game modes, but Ultimate Team still gets a lot of attention, then we could safely say this rumor is BS. And it's likely EA made the exact same decisions as what FIFA were making, or EA just ultimately made the decisions with FIFA not even having any input. But on the other hand, if this is true and we see massive improvements not just to Ultimate Team, but yet again other game modes, Career Mode, Pro Club, Volta, you name it, then yeah, it may suggest that FIFA really did dictate everything after all of these years, and with the player base complaining every single year about some game modes being neglected, it pretty much didn't matter because EA had no control. The last thing to talk about is the release date. The release date will probably be exactly the same, being somewhere within September or beginning of October, and I'm also expecting it to be a staggered release. As said, EA still owns all the game modes. This does also mean that they still have the web app, they still have the release of Ultimate Team, all the game modes, so they're probably going to do a very similar release. They'll take down the web app for maintenance for a few days, bring it back online where you'll be able to play for a single day, and then you'll have the release of early access, and then a few days later the release of an Ultimate Edition, and then you'll have the standard edition, and then of course it's the full release. I assume all of that will not be changing. It's been successful for so many years and it has been a great money maker for EA, plus also it's been fun to play through. Now, as this video is currently recorded, there is no official news on EA Sports FC as a game. EA even put together a website to promote EA Sports FC because they did want to get on top of all of this, because as said, there will likely be a lot of confusion. But in here it does say that EA Sports FC in the summer of 2023, and that's when they're going to share more information. So we're probably around 6 months away, which is standard for the typical release in which EA starts announcing information anyway. On this website as well, it doesn't highlight any of the gameplay as already discussed, but when you scroll down, it does talk about the partners which will be available. This is is individuals for the Premier League, La Liga, Bundesliga, UEFA, CONMEBOL, and also Nike. All of these being the individual licenses, but there also being a lot more. This is just to highlight that they do already have partners linked to them. And of course, it's not a completely dead game because they've lost everything by splitting up this partnership. First lot of information to actually look at gameplay will probably release sometime during July, as that is also when EA states that a new era begins. But as for now, this is everything that you need to know. It should be interesting to see what happens. I'm somewhat hopeful that EA can actually produce a game that players really want, rather than it being the case of FIFA dictating everything. And even though it is a rumor, that is a rumor that I believe in. That's just something that makes sense within my simple mind. But with all of that, we do just need to wait and see. If you do have any questions about anything, then please feel free to leave them in the comment section down below. Anyway guys, I hope you guys did enjoy. If you did enjoy, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. But for now, I'm going. So see ya.